Today we are going to talk about the top 5 scariest haunts in the Teen Wolf series. But don't expect the typical jump scares or cheap horror flick tricks. No, this is deeper, darker. The kind of fear that settles into your bones like a cold that never leaves. Beacon Hills wasn't just crawling with monsters, it was cursed, and some of the horrors that emerged from its shadows were so disturbing, so twisted, that they felt less like entertainment and more like nightmares plucked straight from your subconscious. What makes these haunts terrifying isn't just what they did, but how they made you feel. So buckle up, because once we open this door, there's no turning back. And something might follow you out. Welcome to MTV Series. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more videos. Let's start with the one that broke every rule of possession and identity, the Nogitsune. Imagine this, your best friend, the person who makes you laugh through everything, suddenly turns into something monstrous. Not a werewolf, not a demon, but something worse, a void. A spirit that feeds on pain and chaos like its dessert. The Nogitsune didn't just haunt Styles' body, it hollowed him out, twisted his smile, turned his intelligence into a weapon. Watching Styles, the very heartbeat of the group, suddenly become the villain felt like a betrayal we weren't ready for. And when he looked into the camera with those blackened eyes and that crooked grin, it wasn't just creepy, it was soul-shaking. Because for a moment, we believed that Styles was gone forever. Then came the Dread Doctors. Have you ever had a dream so terrifying you couldn't move, couldn't scream, but were aware of everything happening to you? That's what they were. They didn't knock, didn't announce themselves. They came in whispers, in hallucinations, in fragmented memories. Clad in steampunk horror gear and glowing eyes, they were like nightmares that bled into reality. Their lab wasn't just a place, it was a psychological torture chamber. They turned people into monsters. They erased memories, altered DNA, and rewrote what it meant to be human. It wasn't just that they experimented on teenagers, it's that they didn't care who got destroyed in the process. They made you question reality. And what's scarier than that? Do you remember the Ghost Riders? The Wild Hunt didn't leave behind bodies or blood. They left behind nothing. One moment you were alive, known, loved. The next, you never existed. Imagine screaming for someone to remember you, and they look at you like you're a stranger. That's the horror of being erased from time, from memory, from existence. The sound of the train, the flicker of the lights, and the sheer helplessness of being forgotten, it was like death without dying. When Styles vanished and no one even remembered he existed. That was the kind of silent horror that makes your heart ache and your skin crawl. Because the fear wasn't just about being taken, it was about being erased completely. The Nemeton itself was a haunt unlike any other. Not a person. Not a ghost. A thing, rooted deep in the forest, pulsing with ancient power, feeding on pain like a parasitic tree. After Scott, Styles, and Allison used it to save their parents, it unleashed a wave of supernatural energy that turned Beacon Hills into a magnet for horror. But it also haunted them personally. It gave them nightmares. It opened mental doors that should have stayed locked. And the more they leaned on its power, the more it seemed to take from them. What kind of tree whispers in your dreams and poisons your reality? And then, there was the fear that didn't come from monsters at all, the fear of grief. Allison Argent's death wasn't caused by a curse or a ghost, but it haunted every single character. Her death was raw, unexpected, and far too real. It wasn't supernatural, but it lingered like one. Lydia heard her name in echoes. Scott saw her in the corner of his mind. Even viewers couldn't shake the feeling of loss. It was the scariest kind of haunt, the one that lives in your heart. So what are we really afraid of? Monsters? Shadows? Spirits? Or is it the silence left behind, the unknown, the emptiness that never gets filled? Teen Wolf didn't just scare us with what we saw, but with what we felt. And some of those haunts, they never really leave. Okay, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Please like, share and subscribe for more.